along the lines of the awesome metaphors that you construct, I was listening to a podcast that you did that I really enjoyed where you went over your sort of all-terrain portfolio. Tell me a little bit about that because I think that our audience would appreciate it.
So to talk about all-terrain portfolio, we kind of got to talk about the macro picture a little bit. So if you look at the economy, not just U.S. economy, but global economy, you'll realize that if you look at the U.S., our market, our debt has doubled over the last 10 years, and interest rates are lower probably now than they were 10 years ago, or close to that. So if you look at Europe, the picture is very similar, except you have a union of you have kind of a dysfunctional marriage of a lot of countries. So it's not just it's a very big dysfunctional marriage. And then you look at China and you see that this is an enormous bubble, which you kind of it's been going on for so long. It's like you don't want to talk about it anymore because it's but it's an enormous bubble. You have a huge overcapacity. The debt probably quadrupled over the last 10 years. And then you look at Japan, and Japan is basically the most indebted nation in the world. In a first world country at least, the population is shrinking, and if you look, so debt per capita actually is growing at a faster rate than debt per GDP. So macro picture overall is not great. To make things even more interesting, you have a rise of nationalism, which we're seeing today, and so that's a kind of a very tepid macro picture. And then you look at the valuation of the U.S. market, and we basically, it rivals today valuation of 1999 or 1929. So the stocks are expensive. So this is the terrain we have in front of us, right? So how does one construct a portfolio for that? You basically want to own companies as if things hit the fan, basically. So let's go back to the analogies, right? So if you own like a Range Rover or Jeep, over the last 10 years, probably did not benefit you because you were bid by very fast cars like Ferraris, etc. Okay, Ferrari is great when you have this perfectly paved road. The problem is that's not the road most likely going to be ahead of us. So therefore, you want to own stocks that can get through this. So what are those stocks? Companies that have significant competitive advantage, that basically high quality companies, significant competitive advantage, high recurrence of revenue, very little debt, whose business is very is not cyclical or not tied to health of the economy overall.